Welcome back, students. So today in this class we are going to discuss about the decision making statements in Java. So the controlling statements in Java. So controlling statements means statements that control the flow of data. That is known as controlling statements. So controlling statements in Java are of two types. First one is decision making statements. Second one, looping statements. So these are the two types of controlling statements in Java. So among that, now we are going to discuss about decision making statements. Okay, so this decision making statements are also known as selection control statements. It is also known as selection control statement. So we have already studied all these things in our 8th standard, isn't it? And the looping statements is known as iteration statements. So we will study all these things in detail in the next class about looping statements. So now we will study about decision making statements. So the decision making statements in Java are of different types. First one is simple if statement. Second one, if else statement. Third one, if else ladder. Then nested if statement. Then ternary operator. We have already studied about this ternary operator. This is also known as conditional operator or conditional assignment operator. So the third decision statement is switch case statement. So these are the different types of decision making statements. So here in decision making statements we are checking a condition. So based on this condition we will execute a group of statements. So there are mainly different types of decision making statements are there. Among that, the very first one is simple if statement. So let's study about simple if statement. So if statement, simple if statement. So the general syntax of simple if statement is if inside the bracket condition and close the bracket. If condition, that is here we are checking a condition. So if the condition we checked is true, then we will execute a group of statements. So that statement will followed by the if condition. So this is the syntax of simple if statement. So this is a flowchart or flow of diagram about decision statement. That is, here we will check a condition. If the condition is true, then true statement will be executed. So let's see a simple example. So here we are checking a condition, that is if inside the bracket. So whatever condition we want to check, that should be put inside the bracket. So there is no space over here, that is if n equal 1. So what is the meaning of n = 1? Here this double equal is a equality operator, isn't it? That is, it checks whether the two expressions on the left and right side of the operator is equal. If n, whatever the value we assign to n, if n equal to 1, then we will print a message if the condition is true. That is, suppose let's consider we have input a variable n with the data type int n, and we assigned a value int n equal 1 before this condition. If n equal 1, and after that we check the condition if n equal 1. So a group of statements are followed by we have just write the condition only here. Okay, that is if n equal 1, that is what is the initial value of 1, as I told, that is n equal to 1, that is 1 equal to 1. So since both the values are equal, then the condition is true. So we will execute the true statement, that is we will print a statement, that is system.out.println number entered is 1. So this is about simple if statement. I hope it's clear for you. So in simple if statement we check a condition. If the condition is true, then we will execute the true statement or true block of that particular condition. So this is a flowchart of this simple if statement. Next decision making statement is if else statement. So the general syntax is similar to if condition, that is if condition. Here also we are checking a condition. Then open a brace. If the condition is true, statement 1 will be executed. A group of statement may be there. That is statement 1 will be executed. This is a truth block. And close the else. Else means false case. If the condition is false, then we will execute the else part. Else. For that we are using the word else. The condition else, open brace, whatever the false statements are there, that will be executed inside the else block. This is known as else block. So the condition will be enclosed in curly braces. This is false block. So this is a flowchart of this diagram. That is, here we are checking a condition. If the condition is true, then true statement will be executed. If the condition is false, then statement according to false block will be executed. Just here consider an example. So this is just a portion of the program. Okay, that is int mark equal 60. Here you can see that the value we assign to the variable mark is equal to 16, and it is of integer type. So here we check a condition by using if statement. So the condition we checked here is if. So since it is a condition, we put a bracket, and the condition is as mark. What is this operator? What type of operator is this? This is a relational operator, isn't it? If mark, it read as, this is greater than symbol, equal to. So it is read as if mark greater than or equal to 40. So when we are using relational operator, there are two operators are there, isn't it? Greater than or equal to. Any condition, that is if mark greater than 40 or mark equal to 40, if in that case truth block will be executed. If the condition is false, then we will execute the else block. So here see, so what is the value we assign to mark? 60, isn't it? So we will check the condition if mark greater than or equal to 40. If this condition is true, then we will print a message that is truth statement and has to be executed, isn't it? So you should open the curly brace and write printing statement, that is system.out.println pass. This is a message. Okay, then you have to put double quotes inside that, the message we typed, then close the double quotes and close the bracket, semicolon, then close the if. So this is the truth statement. If the particular condition is false, then also we want to execute the false block, that is else. For that we are using else. Open brace, system.out.println fail. If this condition is false, then false block will be executed. Let's see. So the value assigned to mark is 60. So what is the value in mark? 60. So we will check if 60. That's what happening inside the computer. Okay, when we are writing this program, what happening inside computer is dictating here. Okay, so that is if 16 greater than or equal to 40. Is the condition is true? 16 greater than 40, isn't it? That is true. 16 not equal to 40, that is 16 greater than. So any condition has to be evaluated over here as true, since we use the relational operator over here. So that is if 16 greater than 40, that the condition is true. So what will be executed? So what will be the message printed as output? Pass. Here you can see that we have directly assigned the value to the variable. So there is no need for declaring the scanner class for this type of program. Clear, students? Because when we are using scanner class or IO class, the purpose is that user can input the data at the compiling time. That is, after writing the program and after compiling, and when we run the program without any errors, we will get the terminal window. At that time, we are entering the inputs and we will get the corresponding outputs. So when we are writing a program like this, there is no need to use scanner class, because we have directly assigned the value to the variable. So when we are executing a program like this, and after writing this program entire code, and after that we compile the program, if there is no bugs or no errors in that program, what happens, we will get the terminal window. So according to this program, what is the output? Since the value assigned to mark is 60, what is our output? Just pass will be printed on the output screen. Suppose just consider if we are giving mark equal to 35. So we will check the condition, that is mark greater than or equal to 40. So what's the value in mark? We know that it's 35. 35 greater than or. So this condition violates. So we will comes to the else part. So what will be printed? At that time on the output screen we will get the message fail. So we are not inputting any data through the terminal window, through the output window in this case of program. So I hope this content is clear for you. So this is about if-else statement. Next we will check a program based on if-else statement. So here is a program. So all these programs are mentioned in your last year. So just say, write a program to check whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So we want to write a program, that is what we are writing that program, that is to check whether a person is eligible to vote. So all of you know that what is the criteria for the eligibility of voting? We know that the person's age, isn't it? The age should be greater than 80 or equal to 80. The age should be greater than 80 or equal to 80. If the age is equal to 80 or greater than 80, then he is eligible to vote, isn't it? So the condition we want to check is based on age. That is, we know that the condition is that what is the logic in that program? The age should be greater than or equal to 80. If the condition we checked, that is a condition. It is a condition, isn't it? So if the condition is true, we will execute the statement, that is person is eligible to vote. Suppose if age is less than 80, if you are entering age as, suppose just consider 50, then we want to execute the statement, isn't it, according to the program. So we want to, in that case we will execute the false block, that is person is ineligible to vote. So let's see this program. So here in this program we are inputting the age through scanner class by using the scanner class. That is, after writing the program with our requirements, and after that we will compile it. If there is no errors, we will get no errors in that. So after that we will run the program. Then what happens? On the terminal window we are entering the age. Like that we written this code. Okay, so here we are using scanner class for inputting the data. So we have to import the package. We should import the package, that is import java.util.scanner. Here in this particular line, this is the package. So S should be in capital letter, SCANNER. Okay, then we have opened our class and give a name for the class. So I hope you know the rules for giving the class names. Okay, class what, give a suitable name according to the program. Class what, then opening of class. Next we have opened our main method, that is public static void main string of arguments. Then open the main method. Then here we declared the scanner class statement, because we are inputting the data through the keyboard by the user. So by scanner class, so we have declared the scanner class statement, scanner sc equal new scanner of system.in. So declare the variables. Here the only variable we required is age. So we have declared a variable age of data type int. Next a printing message or prompting message, that is system.out.println enter the age. Or you can give the message according to you, enter the age of this person. Any message you can give. Here I have simply given enter the age. So inside which variable we are going to store the age? Inside this variable age. Okay. In the next line, age equal. So since we use the scanner class and since age is of integer type, what is the method to be used? That is through the object we are accessing, isn't it? That is, which is scanner class object sc. Sc dot, what is the method? Since the method is integer, we have used nest_int_of. So whatever data we inputted through keyboard, that will be stored in the variable age. So after that we will check the condition. So here we are checking the condition by using if-else statement, that is if, what is the condition to be checked? That is the age should be greater than 80 and age should be equal to 80, greater than or equal to 80. So we have used the terminal relational operator greater than or equal to for checking the condition, that is if age greater than or equal to 80. So this is the condition checking for the eligibility of vote. If this condition is true, we will print a message system.out.println eligible to vote. Person is eligible to vote. This is a message. This is a true case. Then close it. If this condition is false, we want to execute the false case, that is else, then open brace, then print the message. So since if the condition is false, what we want to print? Ineligible to vote. That is person is ineligible to vote. That is system.out.println ineligible to vote. This is the false case. Then close the else. This is the closing of if. Then close the main, close the class. So while writing a program, keep practicing, write the comments. Don't forget to write the comments when we are writing the program. So out of your 15 marks, 3 marks go for comment. Okay, so the main things you have to keep in mind while writing a program is write the comments, then variable declaration, then program logic, then output, then data description. All these things are necessary. If you are missing anything of this, even if your program is correct, suppose you are not writing the comments of, or suppose you are not declaring the variable description table, you will lose the marks. So keep in mind, you have to write the comments while writing the program. So for what you are writing these comments, if the particular line is not understand for you, suppose here this is a condition checking. So here since we are using single line comment, give double backslash, then condition checking. So all of you know that this particular comments are not executed by Java. Okay, suppose you want to write multiple line comments, then you know slash star, inside that you have to enclose the comments, and after writing the comments, close it with star slash. So here is the output of the program. So here you can see that here we didn't enter the age. Why we didn't enter the age value over here? Because we are receiving that value through our keyboard. Okay, so you can write the program in two ways. If you are writing here, that is int age equal to, just consider if you are writing this program as in this line, int age equal to 20. So the value assigned to age is 20. So there is no need to use these two lines and scanner class declaration and importing of package. So since we are reading or exiting the data through keyboard, you should use the scanner class statement and declare these statements. So the output will be like this. So when you are executing this program and after compilation, there won't be any error. Then we will run the program, and after running the program, we will get the output screen. So the first message on the screen is enter the age. This is what we entered first. So in the next line, you have to input a integer value. So since we declared the data type as int, you should give a integer value. So here I have given 22. So suppose if you are giving a double type or float value, that is, suppose let's consider if you are giving 22.5, that is a float value, then there is a program error occurs. What is the reason? Because since we declared the age as int and here the value we entered is float. So give values according to the data type. So give a integer value. So here we declare the value as 22. So what will be printed? We will check the condition. So since the condition is true, what will be executed? Truth block will be executed. So what is inside the truth block? Eligible to vote. So this is one case. So when a program like this type of programs comes, you should run the program or run the program twice, because here we are executing only in the true case. So after that executing this thing, we will again come back to our normal screen, that is our program window. Again compile the program, run the program. So again in the next time when you are giving, we will get the terminal window, again get the message enter the age. So here you give the false value. Give a false value means give a value that violates this condition. That is, here I am giving the age as 16. So what is the output will be, corresponding output will be executed here. Since the condition is false, we won't execute the true case. False case will be executed, that is ineligible to vote. So when a program like this comes, you should execute the if, that is truth block and false block. Both conditions are to be executed, checked by you people. So it is your responsibility for doing all these things. So I hope it's clear for you. This is about program for checking whether the person is eligible to vote. Clear? So after writing this output, the most important thing is you should write the data description table. So what is meant by data description table? So this is a data description table. Give the heading as data description. So inside the table there are three things are there, that is variable name, data type, purpose or use. So here in this program we have only used one variable, that is age. Give that variable. Then what is the data type of age? Int, isn't it? So what is the purpose or use? To enter the age of the candidate. So this is very simple. So you should write this also while writing the program. After writing the program and after writing the output, you should write this. So most important things are while writing the program is that write the program code correctly, then program logic is most important, then comments are necessary, compulsory, it's not necessary, it's compulsory, then output of the program, then this data description table. So don't forget to write all these things while writing a program. Simply writing the program, you will lose the mark even if the program is correct. So write all these things. I hope this is clear for you. So let's see one more program. So when a program is writing, the logic of program may varies from person to person. Anyway, the thing is that the output we are getting should be correct. We can write the program in different ways. A program can be written in different ways by the programmer. The most important thing is that output we are getting should be correct. So let's say a program. So this is also we studied. So here we are mentioning all these things by using scanner class. So last year we simply assign value to the variable in the program itself. So here we are inputting the values by using scanner class. That is a minor difference. So let's say write a Java program to check whether given number is divisible by 2. So this same logic is used for the one more program, that is program to check whether the given number is even or odd. So for both these programs the logic is same. Only the printing message may varies for these two programs. So let's see. So what is the first thing? Program to check whether a given number is divisible by 2. So what is the logic? That is we want to enter a number and we want to divide that number by 2 and we want to check whether if the remainder is 0, isn't it? If the remainder we are getting by dividing that particular number by 2 and if we are getting the remainder as 0, we can say that particular number is divisible by 2. The same logic is applied for program for checking whether the given number is odd or even. In the odd or even case also we are checking the same, we are following the same rule. Okay, so let's say that is import java.util.scanner package, that is class even odd, and you can give any name. Okay, give a suitable name, then opening of class, then main method, then we have declared our scanner class statement. After that, so for this program the only variable we required is to store our number, isn't it? Whatever number we are going to check, that is that particular number is to be divided by 2. For that we require a variable. So here we declared a variable num. So inside this variable we are going to store our number and it's of data type int. Okay, you can give any variable. So here we have declared like this. So while declaring variable names, follow the rules, and while declaring this class name also there are some rules. We have already studied all these things in our previous sections. Okay, so next one is after declaration statements, then our first prompting message or printing message, that is system.out.println enter the number. So this will be the first message that appears on the output window. So enter the number. Here we are going to store our number in the variable num. It's of data type integer, that is num equal sc.nestinto. Here you can know that we know that this scanner class we are using, since we use the integer data type for num variable, So the method to be used is nest int of. Nest int of is a one word. Here I should be in capital letter. So after int, put a bracket, opening and closing bracket, parenthesis. This is known as parenthesis. So nest int is a method for accepting integer data through our scanner class object, SC. Okay. So what our data we are entering. Suppose just consider when this message comes now in the next line, if you are giving the value as, just consider, suppose we are giving 10. So that 10 will be stored, received by this scanner class object through the method nest int, and it is stored in the variable num. So num now holds that particular variable. So this is in the output stage. What happening after writing this program, what computer is executing, all these things we are discussing. Okay. So we have accepted our number. So what is the next thing? We want to check whether the number is divisible by 2. So how we will check the particular number is divisible by 2? That is, we want to check, that is, we want to divide that number by 2 and we want to check whether the remainder is 0. If we are getting the remainder as 0, we can say that particular number is divisible by 2. So for that we are using, that is, if condition, that is, we are checking a condition, that is if, and inside that we are checking the condition. Give a bracket, then what is the condition to be checked? That is number, that is we want to check whether the remainder is 0. For getting the remainder, we are using the mathematical operation modulus of this percentage symbol. This is modulus operator. This modulus operator is used to get remainder after division. That is mod 2. This is num mod 2. Double equal to 0. This double equal to is a what type of operator? It is equality operator. Isn't that we are checking whether, isn't it, whatever value in LHS is equal to RHS. If both the values are equal, then this condition will be true. That is, suppose just consider if we are giving the value for num as 10. That is what happening when num mod 2 will be executed. That is 10 will be divided by 2. When 10 is dividing by 2, what happens? The quotient is 5, remainder is 0. We get remainder, that is num mod 2. Num mod 2, the result is 0. 0 equal to 0. If the condition is true, what is the thing we want to execute? We want to execute the truth case. That is, the message will be printed like this: system.out.println number is divisible by 2. Then close it. If this condition is false, then we want to execute the false case, isn't it? False block. So for that we are using else. Then open it. System.out.println number not divisible by 2. Then close the else, close the main, close the class. So this is the program. So this same logic is used for checking whether the given number is odd or even. Here just we want to replace the comments only. The same program, instead of this printing statement, that is we are checking if num mod 2 equal to 0, that is we know that 10 is an even number, 10 divided by 2, and we check the remainder as 0, then we can say number is even. Message will be printed as number is even. Else, suppose just consider we given the number as 9, just consider 9 by 2. We know that say odd number, that is what computer is doing, 4 times 8, 1, isn't it? Remainder is 0. Then suppose a user gives number as 9, then he want to get the output, no. So at that time else part will be executed. So at that time, instead of this message you can give system.out.println it's a odd number. Same program, you have to write the code for even odd number program. So these all things mentioned in your last year. So this is the output. The first message appears on the screen is enter the number. Suppose just consider we have entered 20. So what happened? 20 divided by 2, and we check whether these all things are done by computer since we written the program. Statements, isn't it? Number mod 2 will be executed and the remainder will be 0. So the message will be printed number is divisible by 2. So for this program you have to write the data description. So you people know the how to write the data description table. So in this data description table also only one thing will comes, that is whatever variables you declared in that program, assign it. So only variable we assigned is num. What is the data type? Int. For what purpose? For inputting the for entering the number. Okay. So students, I hope these programs are clear for you. So let's discuss more programs in the next section. So study all these programs. And also one more thing is that, suppose the question is asked, that is write a Java program to check whether the given number is divisible by 3. It's very easy. The same program you have to use, that is here instead of this number, write a Java program to check whether the given number is divisible by 3. So here instead of modulus of 2 you have to give 3 and write the same code, that is in message to be replaced, that is number is divisible by 3, else number is not divisible by 3. That is a minute variations you have to done in the program. Suppose just consider, write a Java program to check whether the given number is divisible by 5. How you will do this program? So it's very easy. Instead of here in this condition, instead of 2 you have to give 5. Rest as same and replace the messages also. So study this program. So we will continue in the next class with a new topic. Thank you.